friend to friend, Bitcoiner to Bitcoiner, man to man, man to woman, woman to man, okay? I'm just trying to help you out. We are in the end innings. You're going to survive. The worst may be over, and if there's worse from here, it's not going to last much longer. We're living through the capitulation. We're in the deep value. The Bitcoin percentage in profit is at levels that makes a bottom. We're almost there. Sometimes it's really that simple. Look at the moving average in the Bitcoin price. We have entered a zone where it is historically really valuable to buy. But this is a blessing in disguise, is my point. You guys know I'm an eternal optimist. I think the human condition is being an optimist. Believe in the future, okay? Yes, this dip is painful. To me, it's a huge buy opportunity. I'm scraping assets I don't need. I'm buy. I'll get into that in a second.
Jack Mallers offers a straightforward yet impactful perspective on Bitcoin. Stop valuing it in dollars and instead consider it in gold. He makes the argument that inflation is the reason why the dollar is always depreciating. It is more difficult to determine what something is really worth when you price everything in a currency that is continuously losing value. The measuring stick itself continues to get smaller. In contrast, gold has long been thought of as a more neutral and stable kind of currency. As a result, the picture changes significantly when comparing Bitcoin to gold rather than dollars. Mallers contends that Bitcoin has truly seen a protracted bear market in contrast to gold. This suggests that this latest correction might be the last phase of a protracted time of suffering rather than the start of a collapse. To put it another way, Bitcoin might be closer to recovery and growth than most people think.
So the first chart, nothing more than a healthy correction. So if you just zoom out a little bit, the chart looks great. We made new all-time highs that we had previously set during the COVID era. We went up to 125,000. We're coming back down, finding some support and accumulation back around those all-time high levels between this $60,000 and $70,000 number. And I think we're going to be primed to make more all-time highs. The chart looks really healthy. Some more just chart porn, some data for your eyes. This is the longest oversold since weekly RSI peak in Bitcoin's history, okay? So Bitcoin has now been oversold for 100 bars. So what I'll show you guys from here on out is why I think this is not the beginning of a bear market. As I've said before, I think Bitcoin's not been in a bull market for quite some time because I look at it measured in gold, not in dollars. Dollars distort your reality because they're printed out of thin air. So it really messes with how you view the world. How much is an egg really worth? How much is a house really worth? It's really hard when everything's measured in dollars. It's like wearing junk goggles. Okay, so and you have to ask yourself, okay, does that logically make sense? I actually think it's fascinating. Yes, every time Bitcoin finds a bottom, it should be a little bit higher in percent supply and profit than the last time. Why? Because what is happening? Tourists are getting shaken out. People here for high time preference and for the wrong reasons are getting shaken out. Eventually, over time, you build a really, really strong base of people that are monetizing Bitcoin and saving in it with no intention to ever sell, to capitalize their family, to capitalize their business, to capitalize their life, right? And so every single time Bitcoin finds a bottom is slightly less percent supply in profit than last time because the capital base under it has gotten stronger. Listen, I don't know what the bottom is going to be. Could we get another wick down into the 50Ks, into the 40Ks? Sure. I have no idea. Okay. I have no idea how much leverage is in the system. I have no idea who's about to blow up. Who knows? But are we at the tail end of the bear market? Yes. According to data, yes. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hey, you're okay. You're going to be okay, guys. I mean, the sentiment online is insane. We're going to be okay. Okay, the capitulation has already begun. I am a subscriber to Checkmate Stuff. Highly recommend it. This tweet from him. Net profit and loss broken down by year of coin acquisition. The class of 2025 and 2026 have collectively puked out $1.5 billion a day in losses on the move lower. That's the equivalent to June 2022, which is FTX days. That's the $17,000 per Bitcoin. Capitulation has begun. We are in the thick of it. We are in the eye of the storm, baby. This is where the money is made. No pain, no gain. You better stiffen up that upper lip, motherfucker. Okay, you're going to survive. You're going to be okay. You want to come to this show and get a little bit of optimism and get a pep talk? Man up. Man up. You're okay. Okay? We're not in for another 2 years of pain. We're almost to the other side of it. Brace up. We're washing out the tech bros. Liquidity is rotating. Bitcoin's the scarcest thing you can get your hands on. This thing's going to reprice higher. Clench those cheeks. You're going to be okay. Okay. The Mayer multiple. The Mayer multiple just takes Bitcoin's price over the 200-day. Okay. So it's just trying to find how is Bitcoin's price performing against the trend. Okay, the Mayer multiple is approaching deep value, okay? Look at the bottom there. As low as these things have gotten when they found bottoms, we are approaching deep, deep, deep value. Meaning, can Bitcoin go lower? Sure. Can Bitcoin have already bottomed? Yes. Yes. This is the time to turn on your DCAs. This is the time to convert your paycheck into Bitcoin. This is the time to get some exposure. This is not the time to lose conviction. This is not the time. And listen, do what you want, right? I already know the Twitter clippers are going to clip this, but like, Jack's begging people to buy his bags. Do whatever you want, okay? Friend to friend, Bitcoiner to Bitcoiner, man to man, man to woman, woman to man, okay? I'm just trying to help you out. We are in the end innings. You're going to survive. The worst may be over. And if there's worse from here, it's not going to last much longer. We're living through the capitulation. We're in the deep value. The Bitcoin percentage in profit is at levels that makes a bottom. We're almost there. Sometimes it's really that simple. Look at the moving average in the Bitcoin price. We have entered a zone where it is historically really valuable to buy. Sometimes it's that simple. You've only had in the last, decade or so, you've only had 3 other opportunities to acquire at this relative price. And look at, sometimes Bitcoin hangs around here, under here for a while, and sometimes it sharply recovers. Okay. The 2021 is what I want you guys to look at. That was COVID. Bitcoin dropped 50% in a day. Everyone's panicking. Everyone's selling. Bitcoin's going to zero, blah, 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 blah. And then it went from $3,000 per Bitcoin to $70,000 per Bitcoin in like a year. So turn the DCA on. Here's the thing. Here's what you guys need to decide for all the people that are emotionally damaged. And by the way, I'm not saying that this is easy. When the next time people say, oh, you just got lucky. This reminds me of like when all the people from my hometown or all the people that aren't in the industry say, oh yeah, you just got lucky. I just got lucky. Do you have any idea how hard it is to hold something from $50 per coin to $125,000 per coin and not fucking touch it? Do you know how hard it is to have an asset go down 80% plus over and over and over again? And for the smartest, most credible people in the world, for the world's politicians, for everyone that you're supposed to trust, you're supposed to learn from, you're supposed to care about, everyone's saying you're an idiot, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're poor, and not listen to them. Do you know how hard that is? So the next time in a year from now, when Bitcoin's at 200K and someone says, oh, you just got lucky, these are the times you earn it, okay? These are the times you earn it. Double down on that conviction. No fee, no spread, DCA, paycheck conversions on strike. Start getting yourself some corn. Hang in there.
Volatility has returned to Bitcoin in dramatic fashion, reigniting debate across financial markets and dividing investors into camps of fear and conviction. But according to Jack Mallers, what we are witnessing is not a breakdown, it is a revelation. In his view, Bitcoin's recent correction is exposing a fundamental misunderstanding that has followed the asset for years. It has been traded, analyzed, and valued like a high-growth tech stock, when in reality, it was designed to be something entirely different: a sovereign, decentralized monetary network built to outlast governments, banks, and corporate balance sheets. Mallers contends that the turbulence is a required stress test rather than an indication of weakness. Bitcoin's primary objective was obscured by easy liquidity, leverage, and speculative craze, which linked its price fluctuations to risk-on and NASDAQ emotion. Bitcoin now has the chance to distance itself from that narrative when excess is removed from the system.
The really important point that I feel like I don't need to say to this audience, but is worth repeating: Bitcoin doesn't need what companies need. That's a fascinating thing. Bitcoin doesn't need high margins. It doesn't need buybacks. It doesn't need earnings. It doesn't need higher CapEx. It's not a company. It's not a tech stock. It's crazy that I have to say this out loud, but clearly Bitcoin is still misunderstood by the broader investment public. That's just a fact. And we now know this based on its recent performance in correlation to software. It's just a fact. So this, if anyone was questioning how early we're so early that some of the largest capital pools in the world still don't understand what Bitcoin is. But this is a blessing in disguise, is my point. You guys know I'm an eternal optimist. I think the human condition is being an optimist. Believe in the future, okay? Yes, this dip is painful. To me, it's a huge buy opportunity. I'm scraping assets I don't need. I'm buy. I'll get into that in a second. But I do hope that this is the beginning. Now, I'm not saying tomorrow Bitcoin's not going to trade like software. This is the beginning, hopefully, of us closing this chapter of trading like tech and beginning a new chapter of trading like a hard asset, like the only finite asset you can get your hands on, like the best money in mankind's history. It's my hope, okay? And I actually think that this dip is going to be really healthy for Bitcoin in the long term because inevitably, at some point, we're going to have to resolve of the fact that Bitcoin is trading like a tech stock, and it's not a tech stock. It's the best money in human history. And so at some point, we're going to have to grow out of that as an asset class, and we're going to have to mature through that. And I actually think that that might be happening right now, and albeit painful, absolutely necessary. Every dip is good for the longer cause of Bitcoin becoming the best money of all time. Here's what I need you guys to understand. I think we are not in the beginning innings of pain. I think we're in the latter half of the pain. I'm not saying that was the bottom. I'm not saying we're going to 100K. These things take time. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. We can do it. We're going to be fine. Okay? This is all healthy. It's all good. We had to wash out these tech bros at some point. I'm glad it's now than later. Okay? But I wanted to walk you guys through just visually why I think, according to data, we're closer to the end of this pain than you think. So first of all, the classic cartoon, the stay humble cartoon. Now, stay humble is usually when the price is way high. What's the opposite of stay humble? Stay convicted. But my point is, look yourself in the mirror and remind yourself, why are you in Bitcoin? What gave you conviction in the first place? Because I'll tell you guys this. The price dropping didn't change that there's going to be a block every 10 minutes on average, didn't change the monetary policy, didn't change the monetary properties. Nothing has changed, okay? This is why you have to not use too much leverage, not exceed your means, earn more than you spend, okay? Be responsible, be humble, always be stacking. So this is short-term pain and it's necessary. All of us Bitcoiners knew in the back of our mind, at some point, we were going to have to grow out of this relationship that we have with tech. Bitcoin's always moving with tech. It's not like gold yet. It isn't traded like gold yet. And that goes down to the people that own it. That's why. And we need to shake these people out. These tourists need to get out of here, okay? And so Bitcoin traded like software because software owned it. Why Bitcoin got dragged down? Same investor base, same liquidity pools, same forced selling dynamics. When these guys were getting pinched, when they were deleveraging, when they were getting margin called, Bitcoin got hit.
Jack Mallers discusses the anxiety and terror that are permeating the Bitcoin market in this stirring and poignant outro. He admits that a lot of newer investors are selling at significant losses and that the sentiment on the internet is very unfavorable. He cites Checkmate's on-chain data analysis to show that investors who made purchases in 2025 and 2026 are currently suffering enormous losses of approximately $1 billion every day. He contrasts this degree of surrender with that of June 2022, when Bitcoin dropped to about $17,000 $5,000. His message is very clear. Weak hands are leaving the market at the hard capitulation phase of the cycle. However, Mahler's displays confidence rather than fear. According to him, this is the eye of the storm, the precise time when long-term riches is created. He claims that people who can tolerate discomfort are rewarded by markets. He reiterates, no pain, no gain, urging the audience to remain resilient. He thinks this is not the start of another multi-year bear market and that the worst of the slump is either over or almost over. The Mayer multiple, a valuation technique introduced by Mahler's, compares the price of Bitcoin to its 200-day moving average. This indicator has historically indicated significant purchasing opportunities when it hits deep value territory. He clarifies that Bitcoin is getting close to those historically low prices. He notes that this zone has historically indicated long-term bottoms, even if he acknowledges that the price could still drop. See you in the next video.